First of all, when I said in the previous class that suppose the syllabus area, suppose I say these are the syllabus area. In short notes, the first topic is cost classification. But if you go in study text and Kaplan kit and all that, then the first three topics are different. Accounting for management, source of data, presenting information, then cost classification. In short notes, first topic is cost classification. But as per the study text and exam kit, the first three topics are this. I have not said that I will not teach that. I will be teaching. Why I will not teach? But I will be teaching them at the end. The last part we will be doing topic 1, 2 and 3. Reason is only one, as I said, that once we have the clarity about other topics, this can be done very fast. Otherwise it is already slightly boring, then you will not be enjoying the class. And at the same time, understanding level will be lower. So don't start study chapter 1, 2 and 3. Start with cost classification only. With the cost classification, I will be completing one by one topics. Then I said that even though there are so many materials shared with you, but which material we should be referring for study purpose, that is my advice. Even though through the Google Drive, there are so many different types of materials are there, but according to me, you should be referring short notes, you should be referring Kaplan study text, Kaplan exam kit and classes slides, nothing else. Even though in the Google Drive there are many different notes are there, don't refer them. Unless and until somebody will say that, sir, मेरी मर्जी में refer करूँगा, देखो भाई, मेरे को कोई problem नहीं है. You can refer any book from anywhere in the world. You can ask questions from anywhere. I don't have any issue. But my advice, refer these four. Then I showed you all that the material link which I have shared with all of you, unless something has joined today or yesterday only. Then I shared with you all that in this Google Drive link, when I shared with all of you in the mail, suppose ACCA, MA, I said that the first class you all can see in the YouTube, because that is uploaded on YouTube. But from the second class, we need to use the software only. This class is not to be uploaded on YouTube. You have to do the recording through the software. Software means if you have the app, you have subscribed for the app through the mobile phone also. If you have not subscribed for the app, only through the software. I can't hear anything. Maybe you are not switching on the audio. In the last class, when you see the recording Ranita, then in the top I have written 3-4 times. Ranita or anybody need to switch on the audio, then only you can hear me. If the student is not clicking on the audio, they will not be able to hear me. For hearing me, the audio should be in mute mode, but you need to click on the audio. When you log in, automatically it will ask click on the computer audio, laptop audio, whatever. Then you need to click on that audio, then only you will be able to hear me. Otherwise, you will not be able to hear me. This I have written in the instructions. If you see the live class instructions. The question is that nobody wants to read. This instruction given to all of you, that the day before every class, link will be shared with you. After you register, you will get a confirmation mail, check in and join the meeting. Once you join the meeting, you shall be waiting room and shall be, your video and mic will be off and you will not be for bandwidth. You can voice your doubts. You will be allowed to log in class in one device only. Please remember that communication link in the mail is exclusively for you and under no condition cannot be shared. In case of any issue, please mail at. Please make sure you register for the class in advance. Good luck. Everything written. But if you don't follow the instructions, always the problem will be there in life. Now, Ranita, can you hear me? Everybody can hear me now? बार बार ये चीज हम लोग नहीं कर सकते, हम लोग को थोड़ा सीरियस होना पड़ेगा। जब आप फोन किए थे, कॉल कर रहे थे, तो आप बोले सर मेरे को ये टॉपिक्स वगैरह पढ़ना है क्या? मैं बोल रहा हूं कि शॉर्ट नोट्स के अंदर पहला टॉपिक कॉस्ट क्लासिफिकेशन है, लेकिन दूसरे जगह स्टडी टेक्स्ट वगैरह में ये 3 टॉपिक है। ये मैं अभी नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा, बाद में, बिकॉज अभी पढ़ाने से अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, समझ में कम आएगा, टाइम ज्यादा लगेगा। तो आपको अपने से नहीं पढ़ना है, जब मैं पढ़ाऊंगा तब, when I will complete them, then that only. Then I said that which material we should refer. I have written in the class slides, short notes, Kaplan study text, exam kit, class slides. Materials are many which I have shared, but आपको ये चारों ही रेफर करना उचित है. If somebody will say that sir I will refer others also, you can. I am not questioning anybody. फिर मैंने आप लोग सबको जब मेल दिया, जब मैंने आप सब लोगों को मेल दिया है, when I have given mail to all of you, then I have given this Google Drive link. This is given to all, just that somebody joined today or yesterday, then not shared. Otherwise, this link is given to all. When you open this link, you will be getting these materials. One is ACCA, MA, FA, Excel sheet in which first class what I taught is written. It will be getting updated every day after the class. This is the previous batch Excel sheet. If somebody wants to study fast, they can refer the old recordings details, in which class what I taught. Then there is previous class slides, like in this batch, I am making these slides, class slides. Similarly, in the last batch, the class slides is there. Then the BPP kit, the BPP exam kit and all that, I am suggesting not to refer. I am suggesting. Then the F2 exam kit, I am saying refer, Kaplan. I am saying Kaplan study text should be referred. I am saying short notes. I am saying refer this, refer this, refer this. If you are referring old videos of last batch, you can refer these two. If not, you refer this only. But there are extra materials given. Last batch video list and all that given, generally not required. Because maybe now you are thinking that the classes are very less. Let me complete in 10-15 days by the end of this month. You will realize that sir is teaching very fast. Sir is teaching more. The sir should be teaching less. अभी आपको लगेगा एक क्लास हुई है तो आपको ऐसा लगेगा, 2-3 क्लास होने दीजिए, आपको समझ में आएगा. आपको स्टडी कैसे करना है मैंने लिख कर दिया. Always attend the live class. After the live class, do the recordings of the same class for everybody. Even though suppose Ranita is champion and suppose Abhinil is an average level student. I am just saying as an example. Average student, meritorious student, below average student, everybody need to do the recording after the class. If you are very, I mean to say, fantastic, you can increase the speed 1.25, 1.5. If you miss the live class, then also first of all complete normal recordings. Then do again recording. That means you have done the same thing twice. Then you do the same thing again on your own. After doing live, after doing recording, do the same thing again on your own. After doing the same thing on your own, make your notes. After making your notes, if some homework, extra things need to be done, extra questions, you do that. Everything you should solve. Don't see the solution. Solve on your own. If you have any specific doubt, send the mail. In the mail, send your Word file. In the Word file, the question, the answer, institute answer, your query should be there. So that if there is anything which we need to discuss at length, we will be discussing in the class. Once everything relating to a topic done, update your notes. That is something, some extra question, some difficult question you want to revise later, update your notes. These notes can be in Hindi, in English, in Urdu, in Farsi, whatever. I'm not talking about, because these notes are for your purpose. Whenever you will revise, you will refer your notes only. You should not refer any of my class slides, nothing Kaplan, because your notes should be used for revision purpose. And study on screen, don't take any printout. Maybe you have the habit, underline this, that, come out from the habit. Follow the system which is required for the exam, which the institute is suggesting. This all the things I said in the class. But if you are not doing recording again, you will never be able to do this. And if you are finding problem in technical issue, videos are not running, software, this, that, don't call me, don't message me. The mail ID is this, the call number is this. Normally mail, it is better, you can call them. But during office hour, your problem will be resolved. If you are mailing at in the evening 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, next day, no issue. For any subject related query, you will be mailing to us. If you have any problem with the ACCA, CIMA Institute, mail them directly. You can keep a CC to us so that we come to know, and if our involvement is required, we will involve and we will help you to solve the issue. But you have to mail to the institute only directly. And then we started with the study. I have wasted my 1.5 hours in this. In the first class, in every batch, I waste 1.5 hours. But I cannot waste every day the same thing again and again. The problem is that if we are not doing the recording again, we will forget. Whatever I am teaching, I have studied them for more than 1,000 times. For that reason, I can teach in a better way. It's not that my brain is better than you. You are like me. I am like you. But I have done these things many times. So I am very experienced soldier as compared to you. So if I am at your place, I also need to study again and again. If I don't study properly the things, always the questions will be there, never it will resolve. And when the batch is running, ask your doubts in the class. Whatever your doubts are there, I am listening patiently to your doubts. I will be explaining at length so that you can enjoy your life. You can help me to serve other students also, other batches also. So before proceeding, anybody has any specific query? Anything to ask? Anybody, even those who have joined it today or yesterday, I have given the first class video link. I have said that do this video 2, 3, 4 times. That join the class after doing the video. Don't join without doing the video, without doing the first class. So anybody has any specific query? Okay, thank you. But whenever your queries are there, mail is there, you mail. When technical issues are there, how I will solve? I am also like you. I am not a technical person. If you are not able to see the video, software, anything, you need to connect with my team. I am not talking, I am not saying you call them. You mail them, na? They will solve your issue. When subject related queries are there, you will be messaging me, you will be connecting with me. Now whatever we did the last class, I will be doing a revision with this question. We will be doing this question for coming 30 minutes, indirectly revising the last class stuff, and then we will be proceeding further. An organization has the following total cost at different activity levels. An organization is producing 4,000 units, 6,000 units, 8,000 units, the total cost is given. In the previous class, I gave at a different activity level, unit level, 4 types of cost. Here it is given only 1 type of cost. Ranita, whether this cost which is given is variable, fixed or semi-variable. Don't read the last 2 lines. Don't focus on last 2 lines. Ranita, the cost details which are given, whether the cost is variable, fixed or semi-variable. Atharva, you can't say that, sir, I was not there in the last class. I have given you video. Yes, I have given video so many times. So nobody can say that I was not there in the last class. I mean to say semi-variable. Why? What? You are reading these last two lines. Don't read. Because in these last two lines, what? Without seeing in the last two lines, what is the logic that it is semi-variable? Huh? So it is not coming same. If it would be coming same, then, and if it is total same 1,05,000, then, since it is not both the cases, for that reason it is semi-variable. You have raised the bar. Thank you. Thumbs up. Thank you. रनीता, आप पूछ रहे थे कहां से पढ़ना है, ये तो पहले पढ़ लो यार. पहले जो पढ़ाया गया उसको तो स्टडी कर लो, फिर आप सोचना कि क्या पढ़ना है. हम लोग इस चीज के अंदर करीब मेरे ख्याल से आधा घंटा 40 मिनट दिए थे कि हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई विच कॉस्ट इज वेरिएबल, विच कॉस्ट इज फिक्स, विच कॉस्ट इज सेमी वेरिएबल. इफ द कॉस्ट पर यूनिट इज सेम, 1,05,000 by 4,000, 1,50,000 by 6,000, 1,90,000 by 8,000 per unit is same, then it is variable. I said that when you all are giving fees, suppose ACCA student for knowledge level 3 subjects, student are giving 30,000. In 30,000 for every student my cost is around 10,000. 20% is GST and 3,500 is ACCA institute registration. So approximately it will be coming around 10,000. So if one student giving me 30, 10,000 gone. If another student giving me 30, 10,000 gone. If 3 student giving me 30, 10,000 gone. If 100 student is giving me 30,000, 100 into 10,000 gone. For every student my cost is 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. If it's 10 student, Saraf Academy variable cost 10 into 10,000. 20 students, 20 into 10,000. 100 students, 100 into 10,000. For every student, Saraf Academy variable cost is 10,000 per student. The total cost for number of students will be different, but per student will be coming 10,000. If I will say software cost, if I will say internet cost, it is fixed. Whether in the class 5 students are there, 50 are there, hundreds are there. The software is for live class within 2-digit students. If it will be 3-digit, 100, 200, then I need to change the software. Presently it has the capacity of 99 students. In one live batch, 99 students. So whether only Aarti is doing the class, or whether 20 students or 89 students, the software cost is same. It is not going to change unless and until the number of students in the live class are touching triple digit, 100 plus. The fixed cost is fixed. It will not change on unit going up or down, but it is fixed to a particular extent. It's not that if the rent is fixed 1 lakh for a room, then 2 rooms also 1 lakh, 3 rooms also 1 lakh. It is 2 rooms 2 lakh. But the rent will increase for 2 rooms when the more students are required, when more resources are required. So when we do cost classification by behavior basis, if the total cost is same, it is fixed. If per unit is same, it is variable. If it is not total basis per unit, both are not same, then it is semi-variable. Srisa, don't see the last 2 lines. Can you bifurcate the cost into variable and fixed separately? Yes, do. Huh? So you do the calculation, you say what you will be doing. No, you don't. You have to say, I am calculator for you. I am your calculator. So you say what you will be doing, I will be doing calculation. Yes. Okay. 45,000. 1,05,000 to 1,50,000 is 45,000. So you can see that for additional 2,000, 45,000 is the variable cost, because variable cost is that cost which will be increasing. If one student teach 10,000 variable cost, in Saraf Academy, 2 student 20,000 is the variable cost. Every additional student will be having every additional variable cost for every student. So 4,000 to 6,000, 2,000 units, the additional variable cost 1,05,000 to 150, which is 45,000. So per unit is coming 45,000 by 2,000, which will be coming 22.5. I am your calculator. You think that when you put buttons in the, press buttons in the calculator, you are pressing here. I am the calculator for you. 45,000 divided by 2,000, when you calculate in calculator, it will be coming 22.5. So it is variable cost per unit. Now what is the fixed cost, Risa? Remaining, how you will calculate? Which 22.5 into 4,000 you are saying. So you are saying that in 1,05,000, the variable cost is 4,000 into 22.5. That 4,000 into 22.5 is coming 90,000. I am your calculator. So 90,000 is variable cost. 1,05,000 minus 90, 15,000 is fixed cost. The same will be coming in 6,000 also. 6,000 into 22.5. 2 6 are 12, 2 6 are 12, 132 plus 3,000, 135. 1,50,000 minus 135, 15,000 fixed. This is a formula written in all the materials of the world. Whether you open Kaplan, BPP, Indian course, anywhere. At 2 different levels when the costs are given, the difference in the cost divided by difference in the units are treated as variable cost per unit. Why? Because as you said, in 1,05,000 fixed portion, variable portion, in 1,50,000 fixed portion, variable portion, but in both the levels the fixed cost is same, because fixed is fixed. So the difference in the cost because of variable. But why the variable cost is more? Because more activity, more production. 4,000 to 6,000, 2,000 units more. Variable cost is 45,000. So per unit 22.5. So 4,000 into 22.5 is variable cost for 4,000. 6,000 into 22.5 is variable cost for 6,000. When you deduct that, you will get fixed cost. I have said, Gautam and everybody, don't read last 2 lines. If your question is relating to last 2 lines, you have to stop. Let me explain, then you can ask. So if you are asking anything relating to, I know. Actually, जिंदगी में केवल एक ही प्रॉब्लम है, नॉट आपके साथ, मेरे साथ भी, कि अगर हम लोग जिसकी बात हम लोग को सुनना है, अगर हम लोग उसकी बात सुनेंगे, प्रॉब्लम जीवन में नहीं होगी. लेकिन अगर हम उसको ओवरटेक करेंगे, हम उनकी बातें नहीं सुनेंगे, तो प्रॉब्लम होगी. मैं भी गलती करता हूं. Somebody saying me something, I am applying my brain. I am not hearing that person. But I should hear. Once he finish, then I can say my thing. तो मेरे को पता है कि आप नीचे देख रहे हो. मैं नीचे देखने मना किया हूं. क्यों? क्योंकि मैं पहले पिछले दिन का रिवीजन कर रहा हूं. Those who have not studied, those who are bad students, those whom I will say 500 times, still they will not study. उनको एक बार क्लास में बराबर तो लेकर आए. उसके बाद तो आगे बात करेंगे ना. Because if everybody is not on the same page, then how we will be able to discuss? और मैं अभी तक जिनसे पूछ रहा हूं, मेरे को पता है कि मैं गौतम आपसे पूछता, आप भी बता देते. लेकिन मैं अगर दूसरे से पूछता, वो नहीं बताते. तो आप लोग को कोई कुछ नहीं बोलना है कि मेरे को आता है. मेरे को मालूम है. Even though I am not able to see your face, believe me, 95% I am sure you can say, who cannot say. But फिर भी I am asking the name and then asking. Why? Because that person need to feel bad that I am not studying in the right direction. क्योंकि अभी तो ये केवल चालू है. अगर हम लोग 2-3 क्लास कर लेंगे और आप मेरे जैसे नहीं पढ़ रहे हो, मैंने जो बोला, what I am saying, you are not following. You are not following the study pattern which I am saying since the first class. Never you will be able to understand anything. कोई भी, चाहे चैंपियन हो आप वर्ल्ड रैंक लाने वाले, तो भी आपको मेरे स्टाइल से पढ़ना होगा, क्योंकि मैं आपके स्टाइल से गुजर चुका हूं. At your age, I have gone through. I have realized at that time what mistake I have done. So I want that my students should not be repeating those mistakes. Now in this question, the question which I gave, in this question at 3 levels, all the 3 levels, the fixed was coming 15,000. But in this question, if you calculate at 8,000, 8,000 into 22.5, 2 8 just 16, 2 8 just 16, 1,76,000 plus 4, 180. 190 minus 180, it is not coming 15,000. At 1,05,000, 4,000 into 22.5, variable. 1,05,000 minus variable, 15,000 fixed. At 6,000, 6,000 into 22.5, variable. 1,50,000 minus that, 15,000 fixed. But at 8,000, it is not coming. 8,000 into 22.5 is 1,80,000. 190 minus 180, 10,000 fixed. Whereas the question which I discussed in the last class on hypothetical figure, in all the 3 levels you can test it is coming same. Why it is not coming same? Because the question is saying extra information to you. What is the extra information? There is a 20% step increase in fixed cost for each increase in activity level of 5,000 units. There is a 20% step increase in fixed cost for each increase in activity level of 5,000 units. There is a 20% step increase in fixed cost for each activity level of 5,000 units. We need to interpret this language with a proper English. Otherwise, we will be doing wrong. And then they are saying that find the total cost of 4,500 units. If I will remove this red sentence, then the total cost of 4,500 units will be equal to 4,500 into 22.5 plus 15,000. This is not correct. In this question I am saying wrong, because there is a red line which is given, which is not saying that you can do like this. I could have done this, I could do this when I will delete the red line sentence. That I am calculating the variable cost per unit 22.5 multiplied by 4,500 units will give me total variable plus fixed cost 15,000. Then the answer will be correct if I will remove the red line. And at the same time, I need to make this 195. After removing this red sentence, and this need to be correct because it is 180 plus 15, 195, then I can say this. But in this question, I cannot say this. Now what this red line is saying? The red line is saying that if we will produce 1 units to 5,000 units, there will be a particular fixed cost. When we will produce 5,001 to 10,000 units, the fixed cost will be 20% more. When we will produce 10,001 to 15,000 units, the fixed cost will be further 20% more. I can say that suppose I said that software, it is for 1 to 99 student within triple digits. Suppose the software charges, अरे मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूं यार, मेरे को टाइम तो दो. एक बात मैं बोलूंगा, जब मैं आप लोगों से पूछूंगा ना कि डू यू हैव एनी डाउट, ये मेरा गारंटी है कि बेवकूफ से बेवकूफ में कुछ नहीं पूछ सकता है. लेकिन आप बीच में पूछना चालू करोगे, मैं नहीं बोल पाऊंगा. मेरे को आपको समय देना पड़ेगा. आई कैन टीच दिस इन 2 seconds, बट हाउ यू विल अंडरस्टैंड? Somebody is asking 20, somebody asking this, that. So it is disturbing others also. I am to not getting disturbed because I will reply when I want. I will not reply in between. But others are getting disturbed with your questions. I will be giving full authority, full right, full opportunity to ask every question. You need to help me to explain. Give me time. Because अब देखिए पहले गौरव चालू हो गया कि सर मेरे को कुछ पूछना है, मालूम था मेरे को 2 लाइन. फिर अथर चालू हो गया, फिर आप चालू हो गए. मत होइए प्लीज यार, रिक्वेस्ट हाथ जोड़कर. Sirisa, everybody, I said in the last class, when you are chatting, in the chat box below there is 2. Beside 2 there is a drop down arrow. Click drop down arrow, select everyone and then chat. Why? So that whatever you are asking, everybody should come to know. Everybody should be on the same page. Nobody should be chatting with each other, personal chatting, no. Everybody should be chatting with everyone. So in the chat box below, there is 2. Beside 2, there is a drop down arrow. Click drop down arrow, select everyone and then chat. मैंने ये कहा कि अगर मैं ये लाइन को हटा देता हूं, कट, and I am pasting this here. So this is not in the question, and I make this 1,95,000. Then I can say this is the correct answer, because then it is coming 22.5 per unit variable, 15,000 fixed for 4,500 units into 22.5 plus 1,50,000 plus 15,000 fixed. But the question is saying this, that there is a 20% step increase in fixed cost. You can say fixed cost increase for each increase in level beyond 5,000. There is a 20% step increase in fixed cost for each increase in activity level of 5,000 units. So I was giving my example, the software 1 to 99. Whether it's a 10 students, whether it's 20 in the live class within 99. The software cost is say 20,000. But if the student will be coming 100, that is 3 digits, say up till 200, 100 to 199, then the software cost will be in place of 20,000, 20% more, 24,000. If the number of students 199 plus 200 to 299, the software cost will be again 20% plus, like that. Similarly, they are saying that this fixed cost, whatever is the fixed cost there, we don't know. That is, the fixed cost is not 15,000. This is the answer when this line is not there. But if this line is there, they are saying that if you are producing 1,002, if you are producing 1,002, 5,000 units, whatever may be the fixed cost, from 5,001 to 10,000 units, fixed cost will be 20% more. From 10,001 to 15,000 units, again 20% more. From 15,000 to 20,000 units, again 20% more. From 20,001 to 25,000 units, again 20% more. That they are saying. There is a 20% increase in fixed cost for each increase in activity level of 5,000. For first 5,000, X amount. Then 5,001 to 10,000, 20% more. 10,001 to 15,000, 20% more. The fixed cost is fixed, but it is fixed in a slab. That is actually the practical nature of any type of fixed cost. If I will say that my rent cost is fixed, if I will say. But to take the classes, I need a bigger, platform, bigger camera, more computer, this, that, and I need to take a bigger space. Not that for every student I need to take a bigger space. But if the number of students are increasing beyond a limit, then I require more resources. Then the fixed cost will increase. Again the fixed cost will be remaining that for a particular level. Again it will increase for next level. That is there in all the practical situations. Maybe in the exam, in a question given or not, that's other thing. But that's the most practical situation of the world. Fixed cost is not that it is fixed whatever you do. Fixed cost will also increase when you will increase your output beyond a level. So they are saying that your fixed cost nature is when it is 1 to 5,000, 1 units to 5,000 units, it is some amount. But when it is 5,001 unit to 10,000, it is 20% more. When it is 10,000 plus to 15,000, it is again 20% more. That way. In this question, in this 1,05,000 and 1,50,000, if we apply this sentence, if we use this sentence, whether the fixed cost is same. If we apply this sentence, earlier we have not applied. If we apply this sentence in these two levels, whether the fixed cost is 1,05,000 and in 1,50,000 same. Why no RP? Why no? Because 4,000 is actually less than 5,000 and 6,000 is actually greater than 5,000. So up till 5,000 there is some amount of fixed cost. But beyond 5,000 there is 20% more fixed cost. So 4,000 or 6,000 cost me 1,05,000 and 1,50,000 fixed cost is not same. So the increase in cost 45,000 is not variable. The 45,000 is variable also, fixed also. I don't know how much. You also don't know. We will come to know. But presently we don't know. We solved the question that 1,05,000 to 1,50,000, 45,000 variable. What Srisai you started saying? In 1,05,000 fixed is same, In 1 lakh 50, 50 fixed is same. So the increase in cost is variable. But the question says that that is not the situation. The question says that in 1 lakh 5 fixed is there. In 1 lakh 50 fixed is more. In 1 lakh 50 fixed is 20% more. So I can't say that 45,000 is variable. So I can't say that 22.5 is a variable cost. Wrong. Can we say that in 6,000 units total cost 150 and in 8,000 units total cost 190? This was 190. In 6,000 units total cost 150. In 8,000 units total cost 190. Can we say that in these two levels fixed cost is same? That means from this level we can calculate variable cost because fixed is same. Now we can say that the increase in cost is 40,000, 1 lakh 50 to 190. That is for 2,000 units, 6,000 to 8,000. 40,000 by 2,000. So per unit variable is coming how much? Per unit variable is coming 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. Now you can check what the question is saying. 4,000 into 20, 80,000 variable. 1 lakh 5 minus 80, 25,000 fixed. This 25,000 will become 20% more. 25,000 plus 20, that is 30,000. 6,000 into 20, variable 1 lakh 20 plus 30, 1 lakh 50. In 8,000 also fixed is 30, not more because it is not beyond 10. So 8,000 into 20, 160 plus 30, 190. I mean to say that still I am not asking anybody has any question. You need to give me time. Then I will be asking with all of you that anybody has any question. In 4,000 units, fixed cost say equals to X. I don't know how much. In 6,000 units, fixed cost equals to X plus 20%. In 8,000 units also fixed cost equals to X plus 20%. It is not more because 6 and 8,000 is coming in the slab of 5,000 to 10,000 units. So fixed cost is same at 6,000 units and 8,000 units. So difference variable cost equals to 1,90,000 minus 1,50,000 equals to 40,000 for 2,000 units. If somebody is remembering the formula that the variable cost is difference in cost by difference in units, then the person will never understand. Because the formula difference in cost is becoming variable when the fixed is same. It's not that at any level you start doing difference in cost by difference in units is variable. No. The difference in cost will be variable when the fixed portion is same. So at 6,000 and 8,000 fixed is same. So I can say 40,000 is variable. So variable cost per unit 40,000 divided by 2,000 equals to 20 per unit. I can't calculate this at other two levels. I have to use those 6,000 and 8,000 level only because at these two levels the fixed cost is same. So breakup of cost at 4,000 units, it is variable cost plus fixed cost. So we are saying it is 4,000 into 20 and plus, since the cost is 1 lakh 5. So it is 25,000 balancing figure which is equal to 1 lakh 5,000. Total cost for 4,000 units 1 lakh 5. Variable is 44,000 into 20. So fixed is balancing figure 1 lakh 5 at 6,000 units which is greater than 5,000. Variable cost plus fixed cost. So variable cost is for 6,000 units will be 6,000 into 20. 6,000 into 20. But fixed cost will be 25,000 into 120% because it is 20% more. Fixed cost is 25,000 plus 20% of 25 means 120%. So it is coming basically 1 lakh 20 plus 30,000. So it is coming 1 lakh 50,000. For 8,000 units. For 8,000 units, it will be 8,000 into 20 plus again 30,000 because it is still within 10,000 units. It is still within that range 5,001 to 10,000. So it will be coming 1,90,000. So total cost for 4,500 units. Now this is less than 5,000. So it is 4,500 into 20 plus fixed cost is 25,000 not 30,000 because fixed cost up till 5,000 units is 25,000. Then it will be 20% more. Since it is 4,500 units, it will be 4,500 into 20, 90,000. 4,500 into 20, 90,000 plus 1 lakh 5 plus 25. So 1 lakh 15,000. For 4,000 units, it is 4,000 into 20 plus 25. But here the fixed cost is 25. But for 500 units, 500 into 20 variable 10,000 more. They are asking the question this. But I have first of all solved the question the way we have discussed in the previous class. That if the cost details are given at different levels, the first point you need to identify whether the cost is variable, whether it is fixed, whether it is semi-variable. Variable when the per unit same at all the levels. Fixed when total is same at all the levels. When the per unit is not same, variable is not same, total is not same, that means it is semi-variable. For semi-variable, you need to segregate the cost into variable and fixed category. How can you do? If at two different levels the fixed cost is same, it has to be. In 1 lakh 5 and 1 lakh 50, here the fixed cost is same. So I can do any level, 45 by 2, 45 by 2, any level. I will get 22.5. And then the fixed cost balance 15,000. But if the question is saying that the fixed cost is not same at all the levels, I can't do from any level difference in cost by difference in units variable because that is not variable. It is fixed cost is same at 6,000 and 8,000 units. So difference in cost is variable here. So here I can do 1 lakh 90 minus 150, 40,000 by 2,000 variable per unit. And then I can reconcile that is I am thinking in the right direction. Yes, at every level when I will do that, every level it is coming correct. And since they are asking the cost for 4,500 units, so I have calculated cost for 4,500 units, which is within 5,000, the lower fixed cost, not 20% more, the total is coming 1,15,000. So any student need to have knowledge whether the cost is variable, whether it is fixed, whether it is semi-variable first. Then the second thing, if it is semi-variable, to segregate you require two levels where the fixed cost is same. Then only you can say that the difference is variable. And then you will be calculating variable per unit fixed cost and you can calculate cost for total any level of output at any level. Suppose we will say that the total cost at 11,000 units here. Suppose total cost at 11,000 units. For 11,000 it is 11,000 into 20 plus now it is 30,000 into 120%. Why? because already 25,000 becomes 20% more from 5,000 to 10,000. Now that 11,000 means 10,000 to 15,000, again 20% more. So it is 11,000 into 20. That is 2,20,000 plus 36. 2,20,000 plus 36, this will be coming 2,56,000. In this 2,56,000, in this 1,15,000, in this 1,90,000, 150. Nowhere fixed cost is same. In 150, 190, it is 30,000. In 1,15,000, 25,000. In 11,000, it is 2,56,000. So from these four levels, I can't calculate variable cost. I have to calculate still variable cost from these two levels where fixed cost is same, where the change is because of variable. Then I can calculate variable cost per unit. Otherwise not. So identifying whether it is variable, whether it is fixed, whether it is semi-variable, first thing. When you identify it is semi-variable, then which two levels where the fixed cost is same. Then you can calculate variable and fixed, and then you can calculate total cost at any different levels. Relating to this type of language, there can be 10-15 types of language can be constructed. We will be going into that, but before going into that, now what is the doubt of anybody? Arti, Abhinil, Atharva, Devopriya, Devasri, Gautam, anybody. What is the doubt? I got this fixed cost as a balancing figure, I have written, because they have given the total cost 1,05,000. I know that the variable cost is 80,000. So 1,05,000 minus 80, 25,000. Because how I will calculate it? In the earlier questions also in the last class, नमन जी पढ़ना है, नहीं पढ़ने से फिर से 3-4 क्लास बाद आप गायब होने वाले हैं, बिलीव करिए. अगर आप रेगुलरली नहीं पढ़ोगे, फिर से रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं करोगे, फिर से उन चीजों को सॉल्व नहीं करोगे, नहीं होगा. आपको दूसरा कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ना है रनीता, कोई दूसरी चीजें नहीं पढ़नी है. जो पढ़ाया गया क्लास में उसी को फिर से रिकॉर्डिंग करना है. रिकॉर्डिंग करने के बाद उसी को फिर से सॉल्व करना है. उसके बाद कोई नई चीज के बारे में ध्यान देना है. इतना में तो आपका क्लास फिर आ जाएगा. इतने में मैं आ जाऊंगा वापस. जब व्हेन वी डू दिस क्वेश्चन, देन कॉस्ट 3 आर सेमी वेरिएबल, दैट इज 10,000 15 डिवाइड करके पर यूनिट हमने निकाला. तो फिक्स कैसे निकाला? We calculated fixed cost at all the three levels, total minus variable, total minus variable, total minus variable. Same thing. Total 1,05,000 minus variable, same thing. और उसके बाद 20% हम बढ़ा दिए, because it is written in the question, it will be 20% more. रनीता बिलीव करिए, आप केवल मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ फॉलो करिए. मैं आपको गारंटी है वर्ल्ड रैंक दिलाऊंगा. आप पास की सोच रहे हैं, बट मैं जो बोलूंगा वो सारा फॉलो करना होगा, एकदम वैसे ही. I have said do attend live class. I have said do the recording. Don't do anything. Do recording again. I said when you complete the recording, do the things again on your own. जब रिकॉर्डिंग हो गई तो उन चीजों को फिर से अपने आप पढ़िए, फिर से करिए. यही क्वेश्चन जो मैं सॉल्व कर रहा हूं लास्ट 1 hour से, सॉल्व दिस अगेन ऑन योर ओन. देन मेक योर नोट्स what you have understood in the chapter. Then do other question which I have not solved in the class, but don't see the solution. Do on your own. After solving the question, then see the solution. You will understand. If you have doubt, you will be raising doubts like this. After your doubts are cleared, update your notes and then revise through your notes only. See when whether you will not become champion or not. I need to check. देखते हैं सर, आगे देखते हैं. अभी तो ये फर्स्ट क्लास हुई है ना. Within 2-3 classes I will understand whether you want to follow me or not. और 2-3 क्लास के बाद जिनको नहीं पढ़ना वो गायब भी हो जाएंगे. They will vanish. They will again think next batch नया सब्जेक्ट चालू होगा, फिर पहली दूसरी तीसरी क्लास में आ जाए, फिर गायब हो जाएंगे और फिर इन दैट केस छोड़ देंगे. ये नॉर्मल है. एज आई सेड इन द प्रीवियस क्लास, जब मैं क्लासरूम के अंदर फिजिकल क्लास लेता था तो भी यही होता था. फर्स्ट क्लास देयर आर 50-60 और 100 स्टूडेंट. सेकेंड क्लास 40 गॉन. थर्ड क्लास फर्दर 10-15 गॉन. फोर्थ फिफ्थ आते आते बस कुछ रह गए जिनको एक्चुअली पढ़ना है और आगे जाना है. वही आज भी है. वेदर इट्स एन ऑनलाइन, वेदर इट्स अ फिजिकल, डजेंट मैटर. और क्यों नहीं समझ में आएगा? मे बी योर ब्रेन इज लेस, एनीबडी स्टूडेंट, व्हाई यू विल नॉट अंडरस्टैंड? इज आई एम सेइंग उर्दू फारसी? नो, आई एम सेइंग 2 + 2 = 4. हाउ you will not understand? You will not be able to do this when you are not revising, like Naman in the last batch did the problem. Again, if you don't revise after 3-4 classes, gone. समझ में आया तो भी नहीं होएगा, बिकॉज मैं ये 1000 बार किया हूं, आप पहली बार कर रहे हो, तो आपको क्या 2-4 बार नहीं करना पड़ेगा? यू हैव टू. हाउ कैन यू से दैट यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड विदाउट स्टडी एनीथिंग? दैट्स इम्पॉसिबल, नहीं संभव है. नाउ this type of one more question we are doing, then we will be proceeding further. This is exam kit. In exam kit course classification, question number 12 onwards, 12 onwards, answer is page number 157. Okay, so 12 means below 12 number page the question is there, page number 12, page number 12, page number 12, 12, page number 12, cost classification. From question number 41, the questions are there in the exam kit. Study text from 40 to 70 there are 30 questions, and here also there are 15 questions. From the chapter there are 45 questions, and in the short notes also there are around 10 questions. 55 questions in a chapter. If with the 55 questions we are not understanding, we will not understand by doing 550 questions. If I will not get a question, I will make the question on my own. But my own, maybe some mistakes I will be doing for that reason. The question is there, that's guarantee. But which number where I forgotten, which will again require application of brain. Okay, this is the question. I am taking copy. Taking the print. Now this is the question. The following information relates to manufacture of product LL. The following information relates to the manufacture of product LL. Output 200, 300, 400 units. Total cost 7,000, $8,8600. In this question, in the above question, the details are given row wise. Level, cost. Here it is given column wise. Level, cost. Whatever the problem. For output volume above 350 units. For output volume above. Now I am not changing the question. The way it is, we are discussing that way only. For output level above 350 units, the variable cost per unit falls by 10%. In the previous question, there was a change in the fixed cost. Now here there is a change in the variable cost. For output volume above 350 units, the variable cost per unit falls by 10%. For output volume above 350 units, the variable cost per unit falls by 10%. Up till 350, something is variable cost per unit. But beyond 350, the variable cost per unit will be 10% less. This fall applies to all units, not just the excess above 350. That means if you are producing 400 units, then the variable cost 10% less, not only for 350 to 450 units. That 10% less each for 1 to 350 also. When the output will be up till 350, the variable cost per unit is say X. When the output is above 350, the variable cost per unit from the first unit is 90% of X. Estimate the cost of producing 450 units of product. So they are asking you calculate 450 units total cost. Obviously in 450 units the variable cost will be lower because it is greater than 350. The question arises that the three levels which is given in the question, at which two level the variable cost per unit is same. Like in this question we discussed that at which two level the fixed cost is same. For 6,000, 8,000, because in 4,000 it is lower. Similarly in this question, variable cost per unit is same at which two levels? 200 and 300. Why? Because 400 is greater than 350. And at 400 the variable cost is lower by 10%. So at 200, 300 which is less than 350, the variable cost per unit is same. Why the at 200, 300 the cost is total 7 and 8,000. Why that difference is there? The 7,000 and 8,000 the total cost is different. Why? At 200 units the total cost is 7,000. At 300 units the total cost is 8,000. Why? सही है? सही है. Because in 7,000 fixed cost is same. In 8,000 fixed cost is same. Fixed cost is same also in 8,600. Because the question is not saying there is change in the fixed cost. In 7,000, in 8,000, in 8,600, everywhere fixed cost is same. But in 7 and 8,000 variable cost per unit is same. But in 8,600 variable cost per unit is 10% less. So in 7 and 8,000, the variable cost is more. Why? Because on 200 units, whatever variable cost is there, on 300 units, the total, for one student 10,000 is Saraf academic cost. For two students, it is 20,000. The total cost is 20, but the variable cost per unit is 10,000. Per student is 10,000. Similarly, for 200, per unit variable cost is same. For 300, per unit variable cost is same. But from 200 to 300, the total variable cost will be more. But the fixed cost in 7,000 and the fixed cost in 8,000 is same. So why the difference 1,000 is arising? When in 7,000 fixed cost is same, in 8,000 fixed cost is same, then why the difference 1,000 is arising? Because of variable cost. Why the variable cost is more? Because the output is 200 to 300, 100 units more. For 100 units, variable cost is 1,000. So what is per unit variable cost? For 100 units, variable cost is 1,000. So 1000 by 110. This 10 is the variable cost for up till 350 units, because we are calculating on the basis of 200, 300. So variable cost per unit 10 up till 350 units. Beyond 350 units, how much? Variable cost per unit 10 up till 350 units. Beyond 350 units, how much is the variable cost per unit? 9, because they have said 10% less. At every level, the fixed cost is same. You can check. 200 into 10, 2000 variable. 7000 minus 2000, 5000 fixed. 300 into 10, 3000 variable. 8000 minus 3000, 5000 fixed. 400 into 9, 400 into 9, 3600 variable. 8600 minus 3600, 5000 fixed. At all the three levels, the fixed cost is 5000. The variable cost up till 350, 10 per unit, and beyond 350 it is 9 per unit. So for 450 units, the total cost will be how much? 450 into 9 plus 5000. 450 into 9 plus 5000. 450 into 9 is the variable cost, plus 5000 is the fixed cost. So at 450 units, the total cost is 450 into 9 plus 5000. What is the difference in this question and the previous question? In this question, the fixed cost was changing. In this question, variable cost was changing. Can it be possible both are changing? Can it be possible both are changing? Yes, 100%. Why not? If both are changing, can we solve the question? Yes, why not? How? Here too we will say that since variable cost is only changing, means fixed cost is constant at all the levels. For 200 units and 300 units, variable cost per unit is same as within 350 units. The difference in cost is variable cost as fixed cost is constant. So variable cost per unit equals to, what was the figure? 8000 minus 7000 divided by 300 minus 200. So it is coming 10 per unit. Beyond, I will say for production above 350 units, variable cost per unit for all the units is 10 into 90% equals to 9 per unit. So verification, this is not required in exam, I am just writing for our understanding. For 200 units, it is 200 into 10 plus balancing figure, which is 5000. Again Naman, this is balancing figure. I know the total figure 7000 and I am getting variable cost 200 into 10, 2000. So 7000 minus 2000, 5000 fixed. For 300 units, it is 300 into 10 plus 5000. So it is coming 8000. For 400 units, it is 400 now into 9 plus 5000 is still, they have not said there is a change. So 8600. All three are correlated. Cost for 450 units. Cost for 450 units is 450 into 9 plus 5000. So that is coming 9050. In this question, variable cost beyond 350 units will be coming per unit 9. Fixed is 5000. In this question, variable cost per unit will be 20 only. It will not change. But the fixed cost will be before 1 to 5000, 20. For 25, 5000, 1 to 10,000, plus 20%, 10,000, 1 to 15,000, plus 20% and so on. If there is a question, I am not making that question, if there is a question where both variable cost and fixed cost are changing. If in a question both variable cost per unit and fixed cost in total are changing. It may be. They have to give the information, difficult to make that information. I will be using pure mathematics. I will not be going into costing. I will say X equals to variable cost per unit. This I will say per unit for up till 350 units. And I will say Y equals to fixed cost for up till 1 to 5000 units. I am mixing both the question for understanding purpose. It will be it cannot be 1 to 5000 and 350. It will be 500 only, like that. Now say for 450 units, or I will say for 200 units. How much will be the cost? 200 into X plus fixed cost. Fixed cost I have said Y, which is coming 7000. Now say for 400 units. For 400 units, how much? 400 into 90% X. Because whatever the per unit cost, that is 90%, 10% less. And what is Y? Y into 120%. Because for 400, say it is 20% more. What is the total figure? 8000. I have two equations. One equation is 200x plus y equals to 7000. Another equation is basically 360x plus 1.2y equals to 8000. I will simultaneously solve them. When the question has variable and fixed cost, both are changing, go into simultaneous equation. For the lowest level, variable cost per unit and fixed cost, assume x and y. Then make two equations and solve these two equations simultaneously. And solve these two equations simultaneously. Solve these equations. This is I cannot solve. I am not solving because the figures are not given as per the logic. I have not applied 20% more and all that in the figure. So I am not solving. I am just saying that if you find it, and these questions also you can solve like this. If in this question they are saying fixed cost is 20% more, variable cost, I will say variable cost per unit is X. And fixed cost up till 5000 is Y. So 4000 into X plus Y equals to 1,05,000. For 6000 how much? 6000 into X plus 120% of Y equals to 1,50,000. Solve X and Y. This question I can solve also. This question I was not solving intentionally with mathematics because I want to apply the management accounting technique. But here if you want to apply management accounting technique, it will be very tricky. It's not that it is not possible. It can be solved by management without making equation. But if you make the equation, you will be feeling much comfortable. So if there are difficulties in the question, you are not able to apply the management accounting concept in exam, solve by equation. I am solving this just for the sake of understanding. Alternative. Say variable cost per unit equals to X. Fixed cost up till 5,000 units equals to Y. So for 4,000 units equals to 4,000 into X plus Y equals to 1,05,000, and for 6,000 units equals to 6,000 into X plus Y into 120% equals to 1,50,000, which is basically coming how much? 6,000 X plus 1.2 Y equals to 1,50,000. One equation is 4,000 X plus Y is 1,05,000. Another equation 6,000 X plus 1.2 Y. Solve simultaneously. You can say first equation. This is first equation. This is first equation. And this is second equation. This is second equation. Now multiply first by 1.2 to make the Y equal, so that I can cancel 1.2 Y. 4,000 into 1.2, 4,800 X plus 1.2 Y equals to 1,05,000 into 1.2, which is 1,05,000 plus 21, 1,26,000. And the second is 6,000 X plus 1.2 Y equals to 1,50,000. I am deducting from the second one the first one. So it is coming 1,200 X. Y cancel. 150 minus 126. 24,000. So X equals to what? 24,000 divided by 1,200 equals to 20 per unit, which we got earlier. Without the equation also, by applying the logic that the difference in the cost 150 to 190 because of variable only, we got the same thing 20. By applying the mathematical rule X and Y simultaneous equation, we are getting 20. And then 4,000 into 20 balance fixed, 6,000 into 20 balance fixed, 8,000 into 20 balance fixed. Automatically the fixed will be coming 20% more in the 6,000 and 8,000. So it is not essential that you have to apply the management accounting technique for solving questions in exam. You can apply pure mathematics, that is allowed. But whatever you will apply, you need to understand that which one is variable, which one is fixed, which one is semi-variable actually. In semi-variable, how can I segregate variable and fixed? Suppose in my case, as I gave you example of software, internet, rent, electricity, staff salary, you can say taxes, in registration, so many costs are there. Every cost in the long run is not fixed. In the long run, there is no fixed cost. If rent is there, after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, rent will increase. It will never remain same. So in the life, if you say there is nothing fixed, if you can say teaching for the first time, maybe when I will teach again, I will be able to save my resources. I will be able to save the time. Whenever new laborers, new type of thing we are doing, the variable cost is more. Whenever we do it again and again, we can do saving. We can do the cost money. We can do the preparation, do the production faster. We can save variable cost. We can save fixed cost when we do more and more production. That is called economies of scale in economics. I mean to say that whether in a problem, the change in the cost details are given or not, practically always there. Whatever information given in the question need to be followed, and the cost can be calculated for any level of activity once we know the variable cost, fixed cost and semi-variable cost. Once we know variable cost, fixed cost and semi-variable cost, we will be able to come to know this. Arhant, not using audio. What he is understanding. Hardev, using audio, ठीक है. And nothing saying also. Arhant, earlier Ranita you, now Arhant. Arhant or anybody need to switch on the audio, then only they can hear whatever I am saying. You keep your audio in mute mode, but you need to select your audio. If you don't select your audio, you will not be able to hear me. So entire class he is sitting. Now he is doing like this, I think. क्या यार अगर हम लोग दूसरी क्लास में भी ऐसे करेंगे तो कैसे होएगा? And whatever I am saying is getting recorded. So when you will see the recordings, then you will be able to understand what need to be done in joining the classes. There is no software required for live classes. Just click the link, whether in mobile phone or in the laptop, anywhere. Internet should be there. You just click the link, join the class. Nothing else. But if you are facing problem, you need to communicate in the class. So I will try to resolve your problem. This we are discussing the behavioral classification of cost, variable, fixed, semi-variable, how to segregate the semi-variable cost into variable and fixed, and how to calculate the cost for a particular level of activity. This classification of cost is most important classification, because for pricing of product, for finding out value of inventory, for deciding whether I should produce this product, sell this product, whether I should accept the order of a customer or not, the behavioral classification of cost is required. Whatever we will be studying in our entire batch, most of the topics are related with behavioral classification of cost. Variable, fixed, semi-variable. Identification, which one is variable, which one is fixed, which one is semi-variable. How can I calculate semi-variable at different levels? That understanding is, you can say, bread and butter. For understanding management accounting costing, this is very important. When I will be teaching overhead, when I will be teaching marginal absorption, when I will be teaching standard, when I will be teaching relevant, everywhere I will be discussing this thing again and again. But whenever I will discuss subsequently, I will say we discussed already in the first two classes. I will be continuously saying this. So please remember that you need to be very confident in this area, that any type of cost is given, I can do behavioral classification of cost, because which is the, you can say, blood and butter of costing. I mean to say, everything of costing revolves around behavioral classification of costing. Management accounting revolves around behavioral classification of costing. Anybody has any specific doubt up till now? Anything to ask? Now, when we go in the short notes, these behavioral classification they have explained through the graph also. They are making the graph, and in the exams the questions are there based on the graph also. For CIMA student operational level case study, 60 to 70% questions will be based on this BA2 PA1 knowledge. Whatever we are going to study in 3 months, in your case study exam, at least 60% will be related with this. 40% will be related with accounting or business economics, business organ. This is most important part for CIMA. For ACCA, most important, this means the entire 3 months. For ACCA students, 3 subjects: business technology, financial accounting, management accounting. This is the most difficult subject. Business technology is easiest. Financial accounting slightly difficult than business technology. Management accounting is most difficult. So for any type of student who are doing the classes, the things which we are going to study in 2.5 months is most important. So they are making a graph. In the graph, this is saying that the total cost, and this is saying that per unit. Per unit should be written slightly here, but it is pasted here. This is total cost graph, this is per unit graph. Now in the graph, the cost which they are drawing is a variable cost or a fixed cost or a total cost, semi-variable. In the x-axis they are saying activity levels, means units. And in the y-axis they are saying the cost. So the line which they have drawn, this is the variable cost line, fixed cost line, total semi-variable cost line, which cost line? The questions which we are doing today, or up till now, whatever we have solved it today. Suppose here we are taking total cost, and here we are taking units. X-axis units, or you can say activity. Y-axis we are taking total cost. If I am talking variable cost, which was here $4 or 20 per unit. So if my production will be 0, units will be 0 production, what will be my variable cost? If the production is 0 units, what will be my variable cost? If the per unit variable cost is 20, so if the production will be 0, the variable cost will be 0. In Saraf Academy, per student variable cost 10,000. So if 1 student, 10,000, 0 student 0, 2 student 20,000, 3 student 30,000. On x-axis, if I take 5 units, 10 units, 20 units, 30 units, 100 units, and on y-axis I will be taking the cost. And when I will join the line, suppose this I will say as 4,000 units, some particular units, and then I will take another level of units which is exactly double, say around 8,000 units. At 4,000 units there is some cost, and 8,000 there is some cost. When you draw the line, the line will be like this. Whenever anybody will draw the variable cost line, the variable cost line will be a straight line. Because for 1 unit it is 10,000, 2 units 20, 3 units 30, 4 units 40, 5 units 50. When you join them in a line, they will be coming in a straight line. The cost is 0 when the production is 0. As the output is increasing 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, the cost is also increasing in the same percentage. If 1 student 10,000, 2 student 20,000, 1 to 2 student double, cost is double, 10,000 to 20,000. 3 student 3 times, cost is 30,000. So when you draw the line for the variable cost, it will be coming in a straight line. This is whenever the cost line is starting from origin, and as the line, the cost is the units is increasing cost, it is a variable cost. But then what is this? Whether 1 student, whether 5 student, whether 10 student, whether 30 students, any number of students, the cost per student is 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. This is per unit cost, not fixed cost. I am not talking about fixed cost is also the same line, but I am talking variable cost per unit. The heading is given variable cost. In the variable cost, if you draw the line for total variable cost, it is like this. Per unit variable cost, it is a straight line. Whether number of students are 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, per unit it will be 10,000. No issue. But again I am saying, whenever we are chatting in the class, please, हाथ जोड़कर विनती है कि whenever we are chatting in the class, in the chat box below that is written to, beside to there is a drop down arrow. Click the drop down arrow, select everyone and then chat. So that if anybody is asking anything, everybody will be on the same page. This is a variable cost per unit graph. If 1 unit, if 5 units, if 10 units, per unit is 20 only, per unit is 4 only, per unit is 10,000 only. Per unit variable cost will not change. If it will change, it will change. We will discuss. This is what? This is a variable cost only, but this is not starting from origin. This is starting from here. Suppose in a company, employees are engaged in the production activity. I said to the staff, if the production in a day will be 500, you will be getting fixed salary. But if the production is beyond 500, for every unit beyond 500, you will be getting $2 commission. You will be getting $2 bonus. So it is not starting from origin. Because even though zero production is there, staff salary is there. When the production reaches 500 to 501, 2, then it becomes a variable cost. The cost is fixed. The cost is not increasing up till this much level. But when you reach this level, then it becomes a variable cost per unit. Must be written like that. Another example for variable cost is bonus payment. For example, when the activity reaches a certain level, labor might get a bonus. Graph of this is given below. That if they are producing within a particular level, they are not getting bonus. But if they are producing beyond that level, for every unit, they are getting a bonus. So normally variable cost starts with origin. But this is starting after the origin, because this much portion will be the cost whether the production is zero. And then the cost will be increasing for every additional units. So this is total cost line. This is not per unit. The total cost will be something even though the production is zero, and then the total cost is this. This is starting from origin, so bonus is zero up till 500 units. But beyond 500 units, the bonus will be coming for every unit, same bonus. Why we are discussing graph? The graph will be given to you. Explanation will be given. You need to select the correct explanation. That which explanation is relevant for this graph. There is another variable cost graph. This is what? The question just now we did. Which one? This one question. This one was saying what? Up till 350 units, variable cost per unit is something. For beyond 350 units, variable cost per unit will be not only for beyond 350, for all the units, 90%. The variable cost per unit in this example was $4 per unit. But if the production is 350 plus, then it was 4 into 90%, 3.6. Not only for 351, 1 to 350 also. This is the graph for this. What they are saying, the variable cost is $4 per unit. Up till when? 350. This is 350. But when it is 351, when the production is greater than 351, then the variable cost per unit for all the units will be 10% less. In place of this line, the variable cost per unit will be falling in this line. The example which we did in the numericals, this is the graph for that example. What they are saying, in case of a bulk purchase discount, the purchase price per unit of raw material is constant. And after achieving a certain level of quantity, a bulk purchase discount is given. After this point, the price per unit will fall and will be charged to further purchases and will also be applied retrospectively to all the units purchased. The question was here relating to variable cost, which was saying that they are not saying it is raw material cost or something. They are giving an example. This type of nature can be possible for a material cost. Suppose I am purchasing study material from Kaplan. Kaplan said that when the number of students will be within 20, then the per student material cost will be 5,000. But if the number of students crossing 20, then the per student material cost will be 4,000. Not only for beyond 21, 1 to 20 also. So this dotted line is saying that when you are breaching this level, for all the units, the cost per unit is coming lower. This is total variable cost only. But it is decreasing when you achieve a certain level. When the graph will be given, you need to identify what is the relevant explanation for the graph. This is what? In this question, we said that after 350, the variable cost per unit will be lower. After 350, the variable cost per unit will be lower, 90%. But not only for 351, for 350 units also, 1 to 350. But if it is only for 351 unit, it is only for additional unit, not for old units. Then this is the graph. If the bulk purchase discount is only available on additional units, not on the old units. Up till 350, this was the variable cost. Beyond 350, this will be coming like this. If you draw one more dotted line, then that is applicable for the old purchases also. Now they are talking about fixed cost. Whether the production is 10 units, 20 units, 30 units, 40 units, the fixed cost totally same. This is not per unit, total fixed cost. In my case, number of students within 99. The fixed cost of the software, say 20,000. Whatever may be the number of students. But the fixed cost per unit, how? It will be like a curve. 20,000, one student, 20 by 1. 2 student, 20,000 by 2. 3 student, 20,000 by 3. 4 student, 20,000 by 4. Per unit it is different, going down, down, down. When you draw the graph, it will be coming a curve. It will be coming. They have not drawn the curve. Why they have not drawn? I am drawing for your understanding. Maybe I will be able to draw or not. Let me check. This is what? Fixed cost per unit. Fixed cost per unit. It is not exactly like this because it will be like a curve, that it is not falling in a straight line. 20,000 by 1 is 20,000 per student. 2 student 20,000 by 2, 10 student 10,000 per student. 3 student 20,000 by 3, 6,667. 20,000 by 4, 5,000. When you draw a curve, it will not be coming in a straight line. It will be coming as a curve. So it will be continuously going down as I produce more. My fixed cost per unit will be lowest if in the live class 99 students are taking class. Because 99 will still be divided 20,000 by 99. So which fixed cost per unit will be on the basis of a curve. They have not been able to draw the curve, don't know why. Now this is step fixed cost. This is which example? Yes sir, Gautam ji, tell me, boliye. Boliye sir. हाँ. In exam, the question will not come like that. Never. But maybe somewhere you are doing a question, it is not mentioned and they are assuming something which is not a proper question. Believe me. In exam, when the question will be coming, they will be specifying whether it is applicable for 350 units or not. But somewhere in any book, Kaplan, BPP, anywhere you are getting a question and it is not mentioned, it is not a proper question given by the examiner. That way. So don't take tension. Now, the step fixed cost is this question. Up till 1 to 5,000 it is 25,000. Beyond 5,000, 1 to 10,000, 30,000. Beyond 10,000, 1 to 15,000, 36,000. This is called step fixed cost. 1 to 5,000, 5,000, 1 to 10,000, gone more. Total fixed cost. The total fixed cost is 25 up till 5,000 units. It is 30,000 up till 5,000, 1 to 10,000 units and so on. And if you draw per unit cost in this case, up till this 5,000 units, it will be coming like this. Suppose up till 5,000, 4,999. Then it is 25,000 by 4,999. Now just 5,000 you touch, 5,001. It is 20% more. Per unit will be more. Straight away more. But again it will be going down like this. It will be like this. It is per unit, curve only. But there are many curves. For one level, one per unit curve. For another level, another per unit curve and so on. So this is step fixed cost. Total cost is step fixed cost per unit. The example which we did, in which 20% more, the graph will be like this. Then they are drawing total cost, variable, fixed combined. Whatever may be the production, fixed cost is fixed. That means the total cost will always involve at least some fixed cost. And when the production starts more, the variable cost will be more. So this is becoming total cost. If you start this line from here, if you draw the variable cost line, it is starting from origin. Because at zero production, variable cost is zero. But at zero production, variable cost is zero. Fixed cost is not zero. At zero production, fixed cost is also there. And when you increase production 1, 2, 4, then the variable cost will come. So this total cost is variable cost and fixed cost both. This is total cost per unit line. This is total cost per unit line. Now suppose some questions based on graph. Some graph they have given and they are asking you which graph is for what. These are tricky, not easy. A supplier of telephone services charges a fixed line rental per period. Period means say a month. For every month the telephone charges monthly are fixed. A supplier of telephone services, say Vodafone, Airtel, are charging for your mobile phone per month say 400 rupees. A supplier of telephone services charges a fixed line rental per period. The first 10 hours of telephone calls by the customer are free. The first 10 hours of the telephone calls by the customers are free. After that, all calls are charged at a constant rate per minute up to maximum. Thereafter, all calls in the period are again free. Suppose I will say that I am using Vodafone. My monthly rental is 900. In 900, suppose they have said that 200, 500 calls are free. 500 calls means for a certain time I can talk, 900 will come. But if I am talking for more than 500 calls, then for per call they will be charging say 20 paise. But from 500 to every call when they charge 20 paise, 20 paise, 20 paise, up till 1000. Beyond 1000, if I will still call, then they will not charge more. Up till 500 calls, Prakash Saraf, Vodafone charges are 900. In that he can do 500 calls. If the calls are beyond 500 to 1000, for every 500 to 1000 there will be additional charges, 20 paise. When the calls are beyond 1000 there are no additional charges. Which of the following graph depicts the total cost to the customer of telephone services? Can we say that one second. Can we say that this not a single graph is starting from origin, but this total cost line will be starting from origin? There is no graph. That means it is not possible. Hey bhai, rukna hai. I am saying that can the line start from origin? They have not given any graph. That means that is not possible. Obviously you will say no. Origin means what? When I have drawn the line for variable cost, why for the variable cost the line is starting from origin? Because if the production is zero, cost is zero. Are they saying in the question, if you are not calling anything, any calls I am not doing, then my total cost will be zero? Atharva. If I not do any call, whether I don't have to pay anything to Vodafone or I have to pay? I don't have to pay. If I don't do single call, then 900 they will not charge. That means if any graph would have been there from origin, that is not the answer. So here not a single graph is from the origin. Very good. Because even though the call is zero, then also 900 charges are there. Here it is saying that up till some units the cost is zero. Where I am saying that my one call the cost is zero. One call, two call, three call, up till 500 call it is 900. So this cannot be there. This graph would be there if up till certain units the cost is zero. Where? The call charges are fixed up till a certain level of call. They are not zero. This is what? This can be possible. Because even though the call is not there, then also fixed cost 900 is there. This is also not possible. B and D at the outset gone. Because they are saying that my cost will be 0 if my production is 0. No. If my calls are 0, then also my cost is there. Why that A and C? What is the difference? Here though it is initially variable. Per call charges are there, variable. And then it becomes constant. Whereas what they said, if the calls are within a limit, then it is fixed. If crossing the limit, then it is variable. And again beyond the limit, fixed. They are saying that only, na Atharva. Because when you have said the answer without doing the class, that means you are a very good student. So are you getting everything, Atharva and everybody? The third one, C, is wrong, because this is saying from the beginning only it is variable. It is not. From the beginning, so they are saying that there is a fixed rental. When the calls are beyond 10 hours, then in that case it becomes variable. And beyond the level, it will become again fixed. First fixed, then variable, then again fixed. That's the story. That's the nature of the cost. And B and D is not possible because this is the 0. When the output is 0, they are not saying that. Yes, Atharva, tell me. No, you are not getting. Suppose in the x-axis we are taking hours only. We have written also. If you are talking on phone up till 10 hours, they are saying that fixed cost is say 900 for my case. I don't know exactly what is the feature, but in my case this is the story. If my calls are within a limit, then they will take monthly 900. But if my calls are increasing beyond the limit, then they will charge on every call an additional charge. So up till 10 hours the cost is 900. If I am talking beyond 10 hours, then there is a variable cost extra. But if I am talking say beyond 50 hours, then they will not charge extra, it will be finishing. They will not be charging anything extra. They have said now. They have mentioned a supplier of telephone services charges a fixed line rental per period. Fixed line rental. The first 10 hours of the telephone calls by the customer are free. That means 10 hours tak if I will talk, the fixed rentals are there. After that all calls are charged at a constant rate. They will be charging for extra for every calls. Up to a maximum, up to a level. After that again they are again fixed. So after that again there is no extra cost. If you say that up till 10 hours there is no charges, then these questions can come. Then C or D can come. Then in that case the answer would be C, this B only. Because up till 10 hours 0 cost. After 10 hours there is variable cost. After a level it is fixed. Then B is the answer. If for 10 hours there is a fixed charges, then the B and D outset wrong now. Because they are saying 0 cost up till 10 hours. Whereas even though 10 hours the cost is something. And then it is increased. Getting? Everybody? Another graph. The total material cost of a company is such that when total purchase exceeds 15,000 units, the total material cost of a company is such that whatever we are doing in the class, after the class is over, do the recording again. After doing the recording, do the same thing again on your own. You have done the live class, you have done the recording. Now to you are champion. Do the same thing again. Don't see recording, don't see solution. On your own. Then check the solution. Then if any confusion, make your notes. Because after seeing this, you will understand. Then do the other question which we have not done in the class. Don't do wrong side. That class is over, I have to understood everything, straight away do new question. You will be affecting your understanding. The procedure of study which I said everybody need to follow. The total material cost of a company is such that when total purchases exceeds 15,000 units in a period, then all units purchased, Atharv, somebody will, Gautam, you will say that they have not written. They have written, if you read properly, the total material cost of a company is such that when total purchases exceeds 15,000 units in a period, then all units purchased, including the first 15,000, are involved are invoiced at a lower cost. Are invoiced at a lower cost per unit. Which of the following graph? It is actually the question which we solved. $4 up till 350. Beyond 350 it is 10% less, but for 350 also. That's same. For that they are asking the graph. Which of the following graph is constant with the behavior of the total material cost? Now this graph will be starting from origin. Why? Because the cost is 0 when the material purchase is 0. So it will starting. So B number fully gone. C number can be possible and D possible. D is fully gone. But the cost per unit is more when you are purchasing within 15,000 units. And when you purchase beyond 15,000, then the per unit is less. Now the question is that in A and C, what is the difference? And in D, what is the difference? In A, it is fixed portion also. First variable, then fixed, then again variable. Are they saying that after 15,000 there is a fixed cost? Are they saying? So A in the outset gone. Then what is the problem with C and D? In C they are saying that up till 15,000 this, beyond 15,000 less. But they are saying in the question for 15,000 also lower. So here they have said what? Either they can do ... in the back. They are not doing ... they are taking it lower. Means what? That for 15,000 also the cost is lower. As just now I said, when I taken you here, then what I said, one story is that up till 15,000 less, beyond 15, up till 15,000 and then beyond 15,000 lower, 15,000 same. But this graph is what? Before 15,000 also lower. And this graph is what? If the bulk purchase is only available on additional units, not only in the old units, only on the additional unit, then this. So what they are saying here, this is on additional units only, then C is the answer. But if it is applicable on original 15,000 units also, then this is the answer. This cannot be the answer because this is fixed portion. This cannot be the answer because the cost will be starting from origin. It is a variable cost. So answer has to be what? D. Not a problem, Atharva. Maybe you were wrong, but you are understanding. We need to engage our brain continuously in the class. All the international courses, CIMA, ACCA, CMA, CPA are understanding. They are not, the student cannot pass the exam just by mugging up the things. They need to understand the concept. So this A is wrong because it is involving fixed cost. There is no fixed cost. B is wrong. It is 0 units cost is something which is variable cost. C is, if for additional unit the cost is lower. But if for original units also cost is lower, answer is B. Everybody, are you getting? For behavioral classification of cost, variable, fixed, semi-variable, there are 3 things. 1, management accounting. 2, different level, fixed cost is same, that is story. 2nd, mathematics, algebra, X, Y. 3rd, graph. Relating to the same management accounting behavioral cost, there are 3 stories. Why the 3 things we need to study about the same thing? If I am talking to boss, managing director, CEO, CFO, they don't have time. If you present them the details like this in column, row, buck, they don't have time. They want the detail like this. They want the detail like this. But if we want costing for a product, valuation of inventory, we want these details. We want these details. We want these details at what level, what is the cost and all that for taking decisions. If I want that, there are so many types of cost involved and all that. Maybe I will be using an Excel programming, or maybe I will be using algebra or mathematics to solve that. In the practical world nowadays, this algebra mathematics is converted into Excel programming. In the column rows, everything is incorporated. What people do, I'm just saying, because later on when you all will be moving to the next level, then there will be Excel story also will be coming. Suppose this is an Excel. I will say here units into 2. Now I will say that, suppose this is units. Unit size 1000. This is not relevant for exam. 1300, 1200. Variable cost per unit. Say it is here 5. Here it is this into 120%. Automatically it will come. I don't have to do anything. Here this is this into 150%. Automatically it will come. Automatically, I don't have to do anything. I mean to say that I am not a programmer. You are also not a programmer. After studying anything, we are not becoming programmer. But in the Excel, row, column, some formulas are set. Any person will put the data automatically, the computer will give them the figure. Then here, total variable cost. How it will be coming? This into this figure. It is this into this. Why it is not coming? 1 second. Maybe I have taken some mistake. This into this. Automatically. In the Excel, the figures will be coming automatically. You don't have to take X, Y and all that. So the world has moved beyond algebra and all that. Actually, the calculation is based on algebra only. But the most of the organizations are using Excel programming to do the solutions, to do the calculations. They are not using algebra like that. It's just that I'm saying that if we go in practical life, then in the practical life, the situation is like this. But in our case, there is no Excel and all that required. We will be requiring in the subsequent levels. Then I will be discussing the Excel, some basic calculation also. Plus, minus, divide, multiply and all that. But here, the questions in the exams at all the 3 levels. Algebra also, graph also, basic management accounting understanding also. All the 3 types of questions are there. All the 3 types. There are so many questions are there between 40 to 70 in 30 questions. So many questions are there on variable, fixed, semi-variable and all that. I want to move forward beyond this. If anybody has any specific doubt, you can ask, then I will be moving forward. Anybody has any specific doubt, anything to ask, any question? Ranita, Arihant, Naman, anybody, Devapriya, Abhinil, anybody has any question? So we are proceeding. Last day when I discussed, first of all, I discussed functional classification. That is like PL account. Then I prepared the PL account format also. Functional classification is required for PL account. Natural classification I discussed direct, indirect. Direct, which can be identified in the product, without which the product cannot be produced. That is a major portion of the product that can be identified after the product is ready. Indirect, just inverse. Then we started with behavior, variable, fixed, semi-variable and all that. And in the variable, fixed, semi-variable, we are still doing discussion up till this time. We are continuously doing discussion with different types. I said that why the cost classification is required. Please understand that in a big company, there are so many departments, so many divisions, so many persons, so many assets, so many equipment they are using. Every person has been given a particular responsibility. That person need to control each cost. The boss need to control 4 or 5 departments cost. The company need to price the product. The company need to reduce the cost. The company need to, what I should say, increase the efficiency of the product. The company need to decide, managers need to decide where the resources need to be utilized. Which product, which market, everywhere. Without cost, we can't do that. When we prepare PL account balance sheet, that is external information. That we are giving to general public. That we are giving to shareholders, income tax department, company law. But these cost information are internal. We are not sharing with anybody. We are keeping it for ourselves, for our business growth. So cost knowledge of the classification of cost is essential. It is vital that you understand the example which I gave today. I have taken the example from here only. If anybody has studied this, he would have understood that. Because this class slides I have already shared with all of you in the previous class only. Because this I have already taken from somewhere to teach. So in the exam, it is vital that you understand the different ways of classifying and describing cost and when a particular perspective is appropriate. You also need to be aware of high-low method. What is high-low method? High-low method. When we have done the question, maximum question we have taken 3 levels. The lowest level is this. The highest level is this. Normally, if the problem is silent, here the problem was not silent. Problem is silent. And you want to find out variable and fixed cost. You should be using these 2 levels. Why? Because within a lowest, suppose I will say that in my case, the lowest level is 1 student. And the highest level is 99 students. For 1 to 99, what will be my variable cost per unit, fixed cost in total? That I need to find out. Whenever the questions are given or in the practical life, we bifurcate variable and fixed. For each level, for each money organization, we find out highest and lowest level. That what is going to be the production of the organization between the lowest and the highest level. So if generally the questions are silent and 3, 4, 5 levels are given, you generally try to solve the question with the lowest level and the highest level. You take the difference 195, 1,05,000. That is difference in cost variable. Difference in units 8,000 minus 4,000, 4,000. You will get variable cost per unit by dividing by 4,000. High-low method is not anything separate. Whatever we have discussed, that only. Just that we should be using high-low method. I will say that we will be using high-low method in those questions where the questions does not speak about anything in any change. It is actually the part of variable and fixed only, semi-variable only. We will divide the cost into variable, fixed based on high-low method. Normally we say that elements means suppose in a cup. What are the costs? Material, labor and other expenses. In anything of the world, any job, any product, anywhere, the cost is divided into 3 categories: material, labor and overheads, elements. As function, as I said, PL account function, manufacturing function, admin function, selling function, distribution function. Can anybody say what is the difference between selling and distribution function, or they are same? Selling function and distribution function is same or it is different? Selling and distribution function, any difference or it is same? Because normally we say selling and distribution. So what difference is there in selling and distribution? Selling is marketing, but distribution is taking the goods by packaging and all that to the customer. Delivery charges. Distribution can be, I can say, I am keeping the goods in the warehouse for the delivery purpose. That is distribution. Selling is marketing, advertisement, promotion, but distribution is providing the goods to the customers. These are 2 different functions in a big. Suppose in my organization, selling, admin, marketing, all are within one. But in a bigger organization, selling separate function, distribution separate function, research separate function, all are separate function. So function means what are the types of cost, what are the types of functions performed in the organization. Nature, I said direct and indirect, and behavior, variable, fixed and semi-variable cost. Written as a functional classification, as a function. First of all, production function, direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, variable production, fixed production. Fixed production means factory rent, factory electricity, fixed production. Variable production means which is not direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. Can anybody give variable production overhead example? Carriage outward is distribution, because carriage outward means you are distributing your finished goods to the customer. But carriage inward, purchase of raw material, you are bringing raw material through carriage, then it is material cost. It is direct material cost. You can say it is a direct expenses, but it is direct material cost. Till the time the material are not reaching at your destination, all the costs are a direct material cost. Carriage outward is distribution, but carriage inward is direct material cost. Material cost is not only what we pay to the supplier. Material cost is what we pay to the supplier, plus the carriage inward, plus the duties, taxes. Till the time you are not getting the material in your factory, all the cost which you have incurred is a cost of material. But the carriage outward, after the finished goods are ready, you are distributing them through a carriage, through a truck, through a whatever you say. Then it is called distribution cost. If you say that delivery is not relating to finished goods, delivery is relating to raw material, it is variable cost. Delivery is relating to something else, then it will be an overhead. Like I am saying that what is a variable overhead? Indirect material, indirect labor, in manufacturing furniture, Fevicol, in manufacturing furniture, dendrite. These are required for every chair, every furniture, but they are variable production overheads. What is the difference between direct and indirect? Direct are required at the beginning. Without direct, you can't start the work. Direct can be seen once the product is ready. More direct material, more production. But indirect material necessary for production, but they will be required later. Once the output is ready, you can't see. Indirect material is required, but you can't see. Only by having indirect material, production is not possible. What we discussed in the previous class. So production cost is indirect also. Variable production overhead, fixed production overhead are indirect cost, but they are production cost. Till the time the finished goods is not ready, all the costs are production cost only. So production overheads, variable and fixed production overheads are production cost only. Material, labor, direct expenses are production cost, but indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses are also production cost. And in indirect expenses, there can be fixed, there can be variable. Suppose depreciation of machine used in the production, indirect, fixed production overheads. Rent of the factory, fixed production overheads. It is because factory is used in production activity. Rent of the factory is a fixed production overheads. That is a production function. Under production cost, direct cost and indirect production cost comes. And under non-production, admin, selling, distribution, finance. Non-production, administration, office electricity, office rent, office staff salary, office, where the administration work are done. Selling cost, advertisement, marketing, cost associated with marketing and taking orders. After the order is received, we are distributing, we are giving the goods to the customers. Cost of distributing finished goods, financing, loan, interest. Interest on loan is a financing cost. These are non-production costs. These are not included in the value of closing stock. Administration, selling, distribution, finance costs are not a part of closing stock. If I produce 100 units, I sold 80 units. These non-production costs will be fully deducted from 80 unit sale. But the production cost I have incurred for 100 units and I have sold 80 units. The production cost will be deducted from 80 unit sale value, only 80 units production cost. 20 units production cost is closing stock. That is not a cost. That will be treated as a cost when the 20 units will be sold out. Non-production cost is not a part of closing stock. Here again they started saying direct, indirect, by nature, variable cost, fixed cost graph, step fixed cost, all are drawn. Here segregation of semi-variable into variable and fixed. With the equation method, there I said X is variable, B is, Y is fixed. They are saying A is fixed, B is variable, whatever. The equations are written. Before proceeding, there is some important terms used here. There is an important term used that in any organization, if we divide, because what we are studying, classification of cost by different ways, whether behavior, whether nature, whether element, whether direct, indirect, this, that we are discussing. This is the total graph of the total cost in a company. Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. Prime cost. Prime means required at the beginning. Then only work will start. Indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses are required later, but they are also production cost. They are also manufacturing cost. Prime cost and other production cost will be treated as total manufacturing cost, production cost. In this production cost, non-production cost added. Selling, distribution, admin, finance, research, all are non-production. Production, non-production will give you total cost. You can say that some terminology we use. The terminology prime cost is all direct cost. Production overheads is all indirect production cost. Total production cost is prime cost plus indirect cost. Non-manufacturing is selling, administration, distribution, total production, non-production. Conversion cost. If I purchase raw material, I have not prepared raw material I am purchasing. Then I am using raw material to make finished goods. So after raw material, whatever cost I will incur to make the finished goods is called conversion cost. Conversion cost is that cost which is excluding raw material. Conversion cost is labor, expenses and indirect expenses. Conversion cost is total production cost minus material cost. Material I have not prepared. Material I have not made. Material I have purchased. But I have converted the material into finished goods. So whatever cost I will incur to convert material into finished goods, that is treated as a conversion cost. And then they have given this graph. This is also, I will say, that very important explanation. Because we say that something called mugging up, something called a technicality. This is, you can say, technicality. Some of the questions you will not be able to solve if the technicality is not clear. Technicality needs to be clear to solve some of the questions in exam. You can say that you need to read, or anybody need to read them 2-3 times. Production cost, non-production cost, total cost, conversion cost in another explanation, conversion cost in third explanation, and then there is the graph, which we can say is also important. Why I am pasting? You all need to understand that how can you make your notes. Something which is very important, something which you need to remember, because every time you cannot open short notes, Kaplan kit, study tags, this, you will puzzle. You will make your own notes so that later on when you study, you will refer only your notes. So you can say that some important areas which is related with the classification of cost are taken from here. Based on this, in the short and in the study text, in the exam kit, everywhere the questions are there. Some of the question I am doing from here. In the short notes, the answers are not written. We will not be able to check anywhere answer. We have to discuss the answers in the class. A company manufactures and retails clothing. That means company purchase clothes, then make shirts, or maybe purchasing cotton, yarn, and then making clothes. I don't know what they are doing. They are saying a company manufactures and retail clothes. According to me, retailing means shirt, pants, trousers, and all, frocks and all that you are selling. So you are purchasing cloth bundles and then you are converting them into retail clothes. Maybe you can say Indian rayon. You are required to group the cost. Why I am saying this? Because unless and until I don't able to make a picture in my mind, in costing I will not be able to understand. I need to take a practical example of any organization. We will be going there. That you are in the Indian rayon, and there the clothes are converted into garments and all that, and then that is retailed. So you are getting a picture. Now you will be able to understand better. You are required to group the cost which are listed below and numbered 1 to 20 into the following classification. Each cost is intended to belong to only one classification. They have given you A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, G, H, I, and 1 to 20 types of cost. They are saying that these 1 to 20 type of cost, you need to classify whether they are a direct material, whether they are a direct labor, whether they are direct expenses, whether they are production overheads, whether they are research, whether they are selling, whether they are distribution, whether they are administration, whether they are finance. Before going into this, if suppose somebody will say direct materials including the cost of obtaining the material, as Gautam was saying, sir, carriage, if I am purchasing material and to bring the material in my factory I am incurring some expenses, that is material only. Within the organization, the cost of having the material bought to organization. Labor cost are the cost incurred in the form of wages, salaries. Cost of expenses, you can say higher charges of machinery or something. Expenses, cost are external costs, such as rent, business rates, electricity, gas, similar items will be documented by invoice from supplier. Selling cost, advertising, sales promotion, printing of catalogs, salaries of commission of salesman, sales department cost, cost of free samples. Distribution, packing, wages of packers, rent and rates, cost of delivery. Rent and rates of what? Of the finished goods warehouse. Administrative cost, office rent, office electricity, accountant salary, auditor's fees, telephone, depreciation of office equipment, finance cost, interest on loan and all that, legal fees on taking loan, research cost for developing new products, testing in any laboratory, cost incurred before making a final product, research, testing in laboratory for making a new medicine. This is just an example. This is not the exhaustive list. They have given some of the examples. Now they are asking you find them. Suppose we are reading something and we are not able to allocate. Think that about later. About those costs which you are sure, we will saying whether it's direct material, whether labor, whether direct expenses, production overheads, research, selling, distribution, admin, finance cost. Lubricant for sieving machines. Lubricant for sieving machines. The company is using sieving machines for converting clothes into garments, and in the machines you need to use mobile oil and something so that the machine will be running properly. Lubricants for sewing machines. We say it is an indirect material. Indirect material, they have given any classification. Then where we will include production overheads. Production overhead is indirect material, indirect labor, indirect production expenses. So lubricants for sieving machines is indirect material, which is. Achha, let's discuss, then I will write. Lubricant for sieving machines is indirect material, that is indirect production overheads. Floppy disk for general office computer in the office. Office means administration cost. Good. Then maintenance contract for general office photocopying machine. Maintenance contract for general office. Again administration. Telephone rentals. They have written here that each cost is intended to belong to only one classification, but in one classification there can be more cost, but maintenance is only one. Office. Telephone rental plus metered calls. Telephone rental plus metered calls. Where the telephone is used, not written. We are assuming telephone is used in the office, so it is admin. I am assuming, but this would be writing. Interest on bank overdraft. Finance, which is finance cost. Finance, last one, I. Interest on bank overdraft. Performing rights society charge for music broadcast throughout the factory. Performing rights society charge. I am not getting it. performing writes a society charge for music broadcast throughout the factory. What is they are doing? When they are doing in the factory, are they doing marketing? I don't think so they are doing marketing. They are doing factory. But what they are doing? Performing writes a society charge for music broadcast throughout the factory. Indirect. Actually, it is using the word factory, so it is looking like indirect. But if it is for marketing purpose, then it is marketing. Yes, music has no relationship with the production. I am also thinking along those lines. There are two things merged here. One is society charge for music throughout the, not within the factory, throughout the factory. I will say this is marketing. In place of indirect expense, it should be said as marketing. Market research undertaken prior to a new product launch, it is research, R&D, research cost. Wages of security guards for factory, indirect expense, factory overheads. Carriage on purchase of basic raw material, direct material cost. Royalty payable on number of units of product XY produced. Royalty payable on number of products of product XY produced. When you produce, you need to pay the royalty. It is an direct expense, not direct material, not direct labor, but it is a direct expense. Royalty on production is a direct expense. Royalty on sale is a selling cost. If you need to pay royalty on sale, it is a selling cost. But if you need to pay the royalty on production, it is a production cost, direct expense. Road fund license for delivery vehicles. Road fund license, delivery vehicles, distribution. Delivery vehicles, distribution. License fee for distribution of those vehicles which are used in distribution. Parcel sent to customer. For sample they have not written. Parcel sent to customer, distribution. If for sample, then it is selling, advertisement. Cost of advertising products on television, selling. Audit fees, office, chief accountant salary, office admin basically. Wages of operators in the cutting department. Wages of operators in the cutting department, labor, direct labor, because they are engaged in the production activity. Cost of painting slogans on delivery vans. Delivery vans. Now whether you should say distribution or marketing. Cost of painting slogans on delivery vans. Whether it is distribution or marketing. If the slogans are for selling our product, अब suppose आप रास्ते में जा रहे हो, गाड़ी पे नजर लिखा हुआ है बुरी नजर वाले तेरा मुंह काला, so that is not selling product, that is distribution. But if we are on the trucks, we are writing that Saraf Academy, best training classes and all that, then it is marketing. अब कैसे बोलूं यार? So cost of painting slogans on delivery vans relating to our clothes, then it is marketing. But if it is not relating to our clothes, then it is distribution. Wages of storekeepers in raw material store. Wages of storekeeper in raw material store. What? It is not a direct wages, indirect wages. Because raw material where used in the production, the laborers used there is a direct labor. But where the raw materials are kept in stores, there the labor cost is indirect labor. That is an overhead. Please understand. Generally we get confused under this. Wages of storekeeper in raw material store is indirect labor. But wages of raw material who are engaged in the production activity is a direct labor. This is not direct labor, indirect labor, production overhead. Wages of forklift truck drivers who handle raw materials. Wages of forklift truck drivers who handle raw materials. They are bringing raw material, I will say. Direct cost means whether direct material, whether direct labor, or whether direct expense. There are three categories, na? Direct material, direct labor, direct expense. 1 second. Indirect material, the cost of having the material bought. Direct labor together with expenses are external costs such as rent, electricity, gas, similar items. which will be documented by invoice from suppliers. What we should say? Because these are for bringing the raw material in-house. These are for bringing the raw material in-house. So for bringing the raw material in-house, we need to say that it is direct material only. Wages of forklift truck drivers who handle raw materials, they bring the raw materials inside the factory. So that is direct material. Once the raw material is there and we start producing product, then the direct labor will come. Developing a new product in the laboratory, research. Developing a new product in the laboratory, research. Again, lubricant for sieving machine, indirect material, which is production overheads. Floppy disk office, administration, maintenance, administration, telephone, I don't know. If it is factory, if it is office, admin. We are assuming admin. Interest, finance. Performing, marketing. Marketing, research. Wages of security guards for factory. That is production overheads. Carriage on purchase of raw material, direct material. Royalty payable on number of units of product XY produced, direct expenses. Road fund license for delivery, distribution. Parcel sent to customer, distribution. Cost of advertising on television, marketing, selling. Audit fees, admin. Chief accountant salary, admin. Wages of operators in the cutting department, direct labor. Cost of painting slogan on delivery van. I don't know. If it is for our product, it is selling, marketing. But if it is general slogan, then in that case it is distribution. Wages of storekeeper in raw material, production overheads. Wages of forklift trucks drivers with handle raw materials, direct material. Developing a new product in the laboratory, research. The 20 types of cost need to be bifurcated. 6 and 19. Performing rights. Actually, some of the things are confusing. If I will say 6th number, then 13 number, not 13, 12 number, then you can say 19 number. It depends upon the explanation. The 6th number, I am assuming that it is outside the factory for promotion of our products. So we are saying marketing. If it is inside the factory for maintaining our factory condition, environment and all that, then in that case we may say that it is a factory overheads, production overhead. But I will go with the marketing. 17 number, if we say like not 17, parcel to customer. If it is a sample, it is selling. But if it is a delivery of the goods, then it is distribution. Then 17, cost of painting slogan on delivery van. If the slogan is written relating to sale of our clothes, then it is selling cost. But if it is slogan is relating to general thing, because every truck and all that something slogan are written, then it is distribution cost. Wages of forklift truck drivers who handle raw material. They are bringing raw material from the supplier place at our place. So till the time the raw material is not reaching at the cost of having the material bought to the origination, where you will be using the raw material from the supplier you bring there, that is called raw material cost only. So if the forklift truck persons, drivers are bringing the raw material from the supplier to here, then their driver wages is the raw material cost only. Because that's the definition. Once the raw material reach in the factory, you start doing production, then the labor cost will arise, direct labor. There is no option as marketing, no option. Selling must be there, selling, marketing. Selling means marketing. Distribution, selling means marketing, advertisement, administration, finance, research. So wherever I am saying marketing means selling. Because just now we discussed now. Here. Cost associated with marketing and taking orders. Distribution. Cost of distributing finished products. And one more thing, when you read their explanation, selling or marketing, advertisement, sales promotion, printing of catalog, price list, salaries and commission of salesman. Sales department includes cost, staff, tea, rent, rates, cost of free samples to customers. That is For that reason, parcel to customer, if sample, it is selling. If it is not a sample, normal delivery, then distribution. It is an indirect cost incurred in making the parcel product ready for dispatch. Packing, wages of packers, drivers, dispatch, rent rates, insurance, depreciation of finished goods warehouse, cost of delivery of the finished goods. That is distribution. So selling means marketing. Under selling, marketing cost is included. So when I am saying marketing, it is selling. Distribution is separate, research is separate, admin is office, finance cost is interest, direct material, direct labor, direct expense, and anything which is not direct, indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses, not non-production, production, they are said as production overheads. Yes, tell me. Huh? No. We say in that way, suppose, I am giving an example. Suppose this is a place on rental basis. Okay. Now to take the class, I need to have a computer or a laptop. The computer I am not purchasing, I am taking on hire. I am taking on rental this computer so that I can start the class. So rental charges of the computer, rental charges of the machine, hire charges of the machine is direct expense. But factory rent we don't consider a direct expense. Reason being that we are not assuming that this is the first time that the company is opening. We always assume that the company is already running. They have already taken the factory on rent and they are regularly paying the rent. So to start your work in the current month of September, October, you don't need to focus on rent. You need to have raw material, you can start your work. At the end of the month, you can pay rent. So if it is rent of a particular machines, equipment, which is required for starting the production, hire charges, then we say as direct expenses. But rent of the factory, we don't say direct expenses. If you say in that way, I am starting a new business and I need to take a factory on rent. You can say as a direct expense, but there also we say that the factory, when you take on rental basis, you are not paying rent on that day. The rent agreement will be month end, quarter end, something. Once you have a contract to take a factory on rent, you do the fixed deposit, you will purchase raw material. You will purchase initial resources so that you can start your work. So rent of the factory is not treated as a direct expense. First thing. Second thing, if we read the explanation of direct expenses, cost incurred other than material and labor is called expenses. They can be direct, indirect. Direct expenses. Expenses which are specifically incurred for job. Examples are specific tools for a job, hire of machinery for a production, cost of special design. Indirect expenses which are not specific to production, without those production cannot possible, intangible. Examples are factory rent. You see, factory rent. I will say one more example. If I am taking this place on rent, then for teaching ACCA, for teaching CIMA, for teaching CMA, for teaching CPA, for what? If a factory is taken on rent, whether for producing product A or B or C or D or E, don't know. But if I will say that for producing a product, I require a particular machine. I don't have that machine. I cannot purchase. I have taken on rent so that I can start production of that product from that machine. That higher charges of machine is a direct expense. But rent of the factory is not identified to a particular thing. And indirect expenses means unidentifiable. They cannot be identified. When you say direct expense, they can be directly identified to the product or job. When you say indirect expense, they cannot be identified. So rent of the factory is not identified for any product or any job. For that reason, rent of the factory is an indirect expense. But they have written higher charges. If you see, 1 second. Expenses, costs are external. Costs such as rent, business rates, electricity, gas, similar items will be documented by invoice from suppliers. They are saying these are expenses. But these are direct expenses because they will be required. But this is the heading production, which includes direct, indirect material, direct, indirect labor, direct, indirect expense. Direct, indirect expense breakup is defined here only. Nowhere. The indirect expense is factory rent. It is production cost, but it is not related with any particular product, in the factory, anything you are doing, not identifiable to anything. If it is identifiable for any specific thing, then this can be said as direct. Suppose I will say that I am taking a factory for teaching only ACCA. And without that factory, I will not be able to teach ACCA. You can say that is a direct expense. Because in costing, there is no law. Like in accounts, we have accounting standard. In law, there is sections, case laws, Companies Act. In taxation, there is costing. Management accounting is not based on law, based on principle, concepts, based on the people, those who are doing. So normally the persons are not considering factory rent as a direct expense. They consider factory rent as an indirect expense. Unless and until if you take a specific example for a specific product, for a specific job, you have taken a factory rent, then in that case that rent can be treated as a direct expense. Not a problem. Getting? You can say that like this type of, there are other 2-3 questions are given here. One second. I will say that every student first complete 2 classes recordings. Do the same thing which is discussed in the class. Then solve. Don't see the solution. Exam kit 40 to 70 and short notes 10-12 questions in the chapter cost classification. You can do, and from study text questions given in the chapter. From exam kit, from Kaplan study text, short notes, in all the 3 places questions are given. In exam kit there are 30 questions, I have seen 41 to 70. In study text there are explanation, along with that questions are there, 10-12. In short notes also 10-12 questions are there, around 50 questions are there. Somewhere you will find that cost unit, cost object, then cost center, ignore them. Some of the questions are very technical, cost unit, cost object, cost center, ignore them. Some questions, 1 or 2 questions are there on cost codification, cost coding, so that in the computer system we can incorporate cost, ignore them. So cost object, cost unit, cost center, cost coding, theoretical type of question, ignore. Other than that, direct, indirect, production, prime, behavior, semi-variable, the bifurcation, all do. Whether you do or not, I will be doing in the next class all questions and whatever small area left, which will be taking around 20-30 minutes to explain cost center, cost unit, cost object, then cost codification, which will be taking some time. We will discuss and we will complete this topic in the next class. But first of all, do the recordings, do the same thing which we have done in the class, make yourself ease. Then if you do other questions, you will be able to solve. You will be getting confidence, motivation. But if you straight away do other questions, you will not be getting motivation. Suppose Gautam, you have understood everything. You can do the recording at a speed 1.25, 1.3 like that, so that you can complete faster. Then do the same thing again. Then do other. You will get confidence. I want that when you do questions, you should be getting confidence, not that you should be demotivated. Because otherwise you will not be feeling good. We want that after solving questions, we are feeling good. And don't see the solution. First solve on your own, on a screen, Word file, whatever. After solving, then see back. All the answers are written in the book only. Once you see back, you will understand. If you don't understand, ask that in the next class, your question, your doubts, whatever, there is no problem. But follow the process. If you start following the process, you will get. And if you have done everything, then make your notes, what you have understood in the topic, direct, indirect, this, that, whatever. Your notes is your notes in any language. You make your notes so that later on you will be doing the revision only through your notes. That's must for everybody. Whether you are a champion student, average mind, below average mind. For every kind of student, that is the way of study. Whatever we have not studied, Ranita or anybody, don't read that. Don't study that. We will study later. Everything we cannot complete in one class. We will be doing slowly, regularly, we will be completing the syllabus. So first 3 topics in study text, information, presentation and all that I have not taught. Don't. Just cost classification topic. Other topics, the way we will progress, you will be studying. Okay? Leaving for today. Thank you to all of you. Take care. Tada. Thank you.